All right, welcome to the Luna Effekt podcast, where we talk about everything, anything, nothing at all. With me is Brian.
Yep.
And we got two guests today. We got my buddy Billy.
Yeah.
And we got our buddy David.
David is
on?
returning.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me back.
Oh yeah, second time on, and Billy's first time on.
Yeah.
I knew I had to get Billy on here because he's a big horror guy. He likes horrors.
That's right.
Horrors. Horrors.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
God bless him.
God bless the horror movies. But yeah, I mean, and the thing is also, I think what made us connect one day when I first met you.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. Happy
What?
Halloween. This is our Halloween special,
this
clearly.
Halloween podcast.
Happy Halloween.
If you can't tell
Silver
already.
Shamrock.
If you can't tell already,
I thought this was Christmas, dude.
it could be Christmas.
It's the nightmare before Christmas.
There you go. But you got tattoos on you.
Yes, I do.
You got a bunch of horror tattoos on.
Yes, I do. I
And-
got the Halloween series, Freddy Krueger, Jason's. Just got Victor Crowley from the Hatchet series, and the one that you are alluding to.
Oh yes,
What is that, Louie?
the thorn
The-
of the cult.
The Curse of Thorn
Yes. What is it?
from Halloween 6.
No, what was it called?
Curse of Thorn.
Curse of Thorn. Yes. And I was the only one that got that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we kind of connected there. It's from
Yep.
Halloween. It's Michael Myers, like what is it? Cult.
Yeah, in Halloween 6, The Curse of Thorn.
The Curse of Thorn.
Yeah, Michael Myers, the series went to a really strange place during, like,
Yeah.
4 is where, like, he came back, you know, because, like, part 3 was, you know, the one without Michael Myers. And then,
That was with the cult, right?
well, I mean,
the little girl one?
no.
Which one?
Okay, so, I mean, do you
Yeah.
want to just get into, like...
Yeah,
I can do
Halloween.
I can do the quick rundown of the Halloween
Yeah,
series.
Tell me the screenplay for everyone.
No. So obviously, you know, there's the first one, the iconic one from John Carpenter, and his original plan was to, like, every Halloween release a new, like, just theme around the holiday of Halloween. So there was no, like, actual plan to make Michael Myers movies.
Oh, really?
So, like, the first one ended up being so successful that they're like, well, give us one more. And that's when they're like, well, where do we go with it? And they made Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode, his sister. And because originally it was just going to be called the Babysitter Murders or something like that. Because they were all
Halloween, yeah, it doesn't have a good
babysitters.
ring to it.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, let's just call it Halloween, and every year we'll release a different themed holiday film. And so anyway, they did the second one. They made her his sister. And then they're like, okay, cool. We're done. Michael Myers is done out of the way. Let's go back to the original plan. They did Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, where have any of you seen it?
I think I've seen all of them. I don't remember.
Yeah. They,
You
Yeah.
had to say
They
what's
were
the
good,
season
but-
of the which what happened? in
So
that
a
one?
lot of people end up kind of skipping that one because it doesn't have Michael Myers. And to me, it's a really cool, like, Halloween themed holiday film. And it's basically about, like, this Celtic company that, like, they want to get... I hear dogs.
Scary ghosts in the background.
Ghosts. They want to get the holiday of Halloween, like, back to its, like, ancient Celtic origins, like of Samhain. Most people commonly call it Samhain, but it's actually pronounced Samhain. So they use this, like, huge marketing campaign to get kids to buy these masks. And as you see on the tattoos, if the video doesn't pick it up, whatever, there's a pumpkin, a skull, and a witch. And they use these commercials, like, every day, playing to, like, they're going to have this huge giveaway during Halloween night. And they actually use the song London Bridge is Falling Down. And it's like, 6 more days till Halloween, 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 6 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Silver Shamrock is the company that makes these masks. What you end up finding out is that there is a chip in these masks that on Halloween night, something in the commercial is going to trigger this chip, and it like starts to like melt the faces of the kids, and like yeah, it's pretty gnarly actually.
Yeah.
And it just did not do well because everyone's like, well, where the hell's Michael Myers at?
I'd expect the same thing.
So
Right.
basically, this was like you
But
said,
this
going
was
back
the
to
point
story.
of what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, they did that, and they're like, well, that didn't work. Let's go back to Michael Myers. So from then on out, it became a family-oriented film. Not like, hey, we can watch this with mom and dad and the kids,
Yeah.
but like it is
Start
always
killing
following Michael Myers' family. Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis didn't come back, so what they had said was during the events of 3, basically, Jamie Lee Curtis had a daughter, Jamie Lloyd, and she, I think, if I remember right, like, Jamie Lee Curtis was thought to have been dead or moved away or something. So Jamie Lloyd, her daughter, Michael Myers' niece, is...
That's the little girl that you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. He starts trying to kill her. Same thing in part 5. And at the end of part 5, like...
Wasn't she pregnant? Didn't
That's
he
in-
bang her?
Okay, so
Wait,
that's
Michael
that's
Michael Myers
where...
ended up banging.
You're talking about the little kid.
that- this is
Well, she was a little older.
No,
by
so
then.
I'll get to that point. So in 5, she's a little older. Not, I mean, like only like a year or two older. And
Okay.
she what was it? Oh, at the end of the film, they're just like, Michael Myers gets put in jail, and they're just like, how do we get him out of jail? I don't know. We'll just put a guy dressed in all black and get him to like get him out of jail, like break him out. And then part 6 rolls around. They're like, so what are we supposed to do with this guy in black? And they're like, we just did it. So he tried to... This is why I actually really like part 6, is they tried to make sense of a lot of kind of bullshit and to actually bring it back to using, again, like ancient Celtic origins of Halloween and whatnot. And they use this cult, the Curse of Thorn, that it's this thing that, like, when the stars align on Halloween every certain amount of years or whatever, like, this curse is bestowed upon Michael Myers, and we find out why has he been going after his family all these years. It's because of this curse.
Yeah, like when he was a baby or something, right? Don't they? Like,
Yeah,
they do a ritual
Yep.
and carve it on his stomach.
Yep.
The thorn or something.
Mm-hmm. And so the little girl is now older. She has a daughter, or a son, and like, he's the last like living thing, to Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And so yeah. Anyway, that one's kind of neat, and I got this tattoo. I knew I wanted it, but then like I was at a horror film convention, and the special effects makeup artist was actually there, so I had him draw it on me. The same
dope.
guy that put it on Michael Myers in the film,
Oh,
and then I went and got it
that's
tattooed. So he's like, "Are you sure about that?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And I went and I got it done, and he's like, "It's official. You're like the closest thing to Michael Myers that like anybody can get."
Wow.
Like,
coming
other-
from that dude.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
exactly.
That is awesome.
Other people have that and can get it, but and not that they can't get it the way I did, but that's a very unique
So you're
way
a
of
fucking-
getting it.
You're like a
So,
killer.
yeah.
You're like a killer on Halloween.
But yeah, so then to quickly finish up Halloween series, part 7 comes out. It's Halloween H2O. Jamie Lee Curtis comes back, and they're just like, let's skip all that stuff, and it takes place after part 2, basically.
Exhibits in
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No,
Well-
LL Cool J's in Halloween
Oh,
H2O.
that's what it was? Oh yeah, hello.
And
yeah.
that one's not too bad. And then Halloween Resurrection comes out, and that's with Busta Rhymes.
Oh, okay, then I was
And
totally
it's it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Well, aren't they doing it, like redoing it again, and, like skipping like
Well,
so much from the movies?
Yeah,
They're
so
coming out next year with another Halloween.
So-
Is that Rob Zombie again?
Well, no, it's not. At that point, like, the Halloween series was just like, that last one with Busta Rhymes was not very good. It was basically like the MTV generation started kicking in of like reality TV, and they're just like, hey, let's put like live video streams in the Michael Myers house. We'll have people stay the night.
that's what it
We'll
was.
stage a thing while Michael Myers actually shows up. And I mean, it sounds like a neat idea, but like seriously, like Busta Rhymes does kung fu against
Yeah.
Michael Myers in
Yeah,
it.
he does.
And yeah, there's just some weird shit. So they're just like, well,
'Cause
let's
Busta Rhymes
reboot it.
ends up putting on like the mask and the jumpsuit,
Yeah.
trying to be the killer, and then he runs into Michael Myers and like doesn't he like kind of beat his ass in a way?
Yeah, and then he says, trick or treat, motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah, he does do that. Oh man, but either way, I like Michael Myers. I mean,
yeah.
even the song, just like the ding 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 ding
Oh, yeah,
ding, ding ding ding. You know, it's just.
Have you heard
classic.
It's
Trent
iconic.
Reznor just did a cover of it?
Trent
Oh.
Reznor just did a cover.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard.
That's
it.
pretty cool. I mean, it stays pretty original to it,
Yeah.
but there's just a little bit of his edge
Like
in
how
there. And it's
Michael
like,
Myers' little
I see.
dog.
yeah, but yeah. So then Rob Zombie took it over, did his 2 films, and now
Which one did Rob Zombie do?
the remake and the second one.
Okay.
And
That girl from the older ones, the young girl,
Mhm.
is that her?
Yep, she
Again,
came
right?
back.
Okay, I
Yep,
just thought it was.
as a different character, but yeah, she came back.
She's
and
pretty hot. She's done.
Yeah.
She's done a couple.
Yeah.
Like other horror movies, right?
Mhm. Yeah, she's
known
in the
as a-
Hatchet films. She was in Roseanne for a while. Yeah, she's done all kinds
Research
of stuff.
that. What's her name?
What's her name?
Yeah.
Danielle
just,
Harris.
Just,
You already
for
know.
research purposes. Research that.
Yeah, Danielle Harris is her name.
Yeah, she's pretty.
But
hot.
yeah, so now they're doing another film, and this is where movies have started to kind of take a different direction of like they're not. I mean, not that they're not doing remakes as much, but like instead of doing another remake, they're starting to do they're doing it with the Terminator, where like, well, it takes place after a certain one within the series. And these series like almost start to become like choose your own adventure type things. Like, so this new one's going to take place after the original part 1, and I don't think she's going to be his sister or anything
Well,
like
it's
that.
just a whole different story.
I mean, so Halloween 1978, everything else doesn't exist, and this new one will be 40 years after those events.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jamie, and she's coming back. She announced it. And stuff,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, she's coming back. And John Carpenter he's not directing it or anything, but he's kind of like the guidance. They run things by him, and then I guess he's gonna score the film again too. So, it's,
I mean, you always want to keep these classics,
yeah,
you know. But then, it kind of gets all jumbled up, so you got to find somewhere to keep it fresh. But, just the vision now, like, not vision, but the quality of the cameras and everything. That much more crisp.
yeah.
Because when you watch those older movies, you see the haze on it and everything. But it's so damn crisp nowadays that you want to keep that, that character coming out. But sometimes they cheap out and they do this, the CGI.
Yeah, that ruins
I
a
think
lot.
it costs a lot more, but that's what they say. But with that, it kind of looks cheesy sometimes.
Fake too.
yeah.
I think with the older films too, I think they tried so much harder, like just creating so many props. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know much about like computer tech and how much technology, but if you can go to a computer and just like, okay, here you go, boom, we got that. Instead of like, like people creating all these props
Sure.
and blood and stuff, like it was just so much more like put into it, an imagination, I think.
Well, the thing was like, especially with horror films, like it's always been regarded as like the it's literally been referred to as like just a step above porn in the film industry.
Oh, really? They don't.
Yeah.
They don't credit it.
They
as
don't.
like a-
No, it's garbage.
I saw you
Oh.
post a rant a little bit about the new It.
yeah,
You were saying something like it wasn't considered a horror film.
because it's doing so well. Everybody's like, well, that's because it's not actually a horror film. Like, fuck off. Yeah, it is.
No, I loved it. I thought
Yeah, it was
a
really good.
movie.
And that's a movie, to go on your CGI and the practical effects, like, it's a good mix of both.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved what they did with the
Right.
biography in there. Yeah,
Right.
Because you watched the original one, and some people are like, "Oh, I love the original one, but I don't like this one." I'm like, "How could you not like this one?"
I like
Blinders You know, to sometimes I'm not saying that you're wrong, but a lot of people just go like, "Oh no, it's not going to be the same as my thing," and it's like, well, you know, kind of try to let that go a little bit because you could be missing out on something really cool.
Yeah.
Like you can still love your old thing. Nothing's going to take that away. You know, it doesn't ruin that old movie.
Yeah.
If the new one sucks, so what?
I still feel bad for little Georgie, man.
Oh yeah.
I still feel
It's
bad
just
for
say last time I
Georgie.
talked to you, man. Little
But
Georgie
yeah,
out
I
of nowhere.
still
Little
feel bad.
Georgie, man.
Little Georgie, dude, just want to play with his boat.
But yeah, like you were saying, Lou, with the practical effects and stuff, like horror movies, they didn't have huge budgets, and they had to create everything, and they had to get really inventive with things. So it's just like,
There's a
all
lot
right,
more
let's,
pride.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like he said, little budgets. Like, just like let's step into my movies that I liked. I liked a lot of the Freddy Cougars.
Yeah.
This guy
I love
right here.
Freddy.
I
Yeah.
love Freddy. And, like, when I learned more about Wes Craven, you know, rest in peace.
Yep.
But that movie almost didn't happen, you know? Like, they were on a low-type budget, and they were saying, like, even, like no orchestra for the music. They just basically had the guy, is like, one guy that did the sound for them was like, let me try doing this at home. I'll do it for free, and, like, let me just try to see what I can do, you know, on my own without having to pay a gigantic orchestra, you know, because they didn't have any money anymore. Budget was done. But I found out that he got his idea from stories in Japan going around, newspapers, that he heard about some guy like dying in his sleep and stuff, and they were saying like he was like paranoid. And then he heard another one, and then there's a third one that he heard where he was like, this guy was like, and this is, I don't know, Asians, I don't know what they're dreaming about, but this guy was like chasing some teenage kid in his dreams, and he was talking about like every time he went to bed, you know, he saw this man trying to kill him, and he told his parents that, and he was like on pills and had a coffee pot in his room, and long story short, he falls asleep in the living room. Parents, the dad or something, took him up to his room, and next thing you know, like later on that night, they hear him screaming shit, and he's dead. So he saw that in the newspaper. He's like, okay, this is crazy, because I think it happened like all in a year, like something,
Yeah.
1970 something. So he's like, that is crazy. Because I was wondering, I was like, who has the fucking imagination to create a monster that kills you in your sleep,
Right.
in your dreams?
Well, and the image of him too was when Wes was a little kid, he was looking out his window, and a vagrant or just some dude was walking down the street, and like just stopped and like stared at him through his window,
Probably had the stripe
and had a similar look. So that's kind of where he got the look.
yeah. I mean that's kind of an older look. So I mean,
Yep.
you know,
Is there story behind his glove?
Not. I mean, I'm sure there is, but
what I've read up on it was like it was just like props. They were just like, oh, the glove. Someone in his crew thought about like just the left hand having like some knives or whatever,
Yeah.
else, and they just made it up
Yeah.
and stuff. I mean, I think he got help from a lot of people. Like, oh, let's do this to his.
Oh,
to his-
sure.
To his, you know, to this character or whatever.
Well,
'Cause they still had to figure out what kind of killer and what kind of like what he would look like. You know?
If I remember correctly, the special effects makeup artist is a guy named Kevin Yeager, and he said that he was like trying to figure out how to create the look of Freddy, and he's just sitting down like eating pizza, just like, man, what can I do? And I don't know if like what he had, and he just kind of like grabbed a pencil or something and started like readjusting the cheese in the pizza, and it's like, holy shit, burn victim.
There you
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that actually worked.
Hey, it worked. It worked.
Yeah.
What was your favorite one? The original? I mean, that's always the best.
That was a
original.
good one. I don't know, because like as a kid, when I grew up watching these with my cousins and stuff, of course, I have stories about that later. But I grew up in the '90s, so Freddy's Dead. That was like the one, supposed to be the last installment of it.
Right.
That one was one of my favorites because I grew up watching it
Sure.
more. You know, I used to pop it in and watch it. The other ones were way too scary for me. I think because it got comedy, more comedy kind of based.
yeah, he became a pop culture star.
Yeah. So
Really?
Freddy became like pop culture, so they started making it a little bit more funny. So I
Yeah.
think I could handle that one a little bit better. Because the last ones, I remember, like I told you, one of the deaths that I like fucking thought stuck in my head was
That's number 4.
number 4
With the
was
tendons.
the tendons, when he kind of plays puppet master.
Oh, that's
with-
3.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
is it
3?
3?
Yeah, it's Dream Warriors. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, that one.
That's
that
part
one
3.
scared the shit
It-
out of me, dude. I fucking hated that
if
one.
people don't choose the first one as their favorite, almost everyone chooses the third because it's
dug
it's
that one.
awesome.
It's pretty gnarly, dude.
And yeah, that's one of my favorite kills.
Yeah, like
yeah.
he just like rips his tendons out, and just kind of plays puppet with him.
Yeah.
And like falls off of. Building.
He makes it look like he commits suicide by puppeteering him out the window.
Oh, I just imagine like, oh, dude, the tendons just ripping out of you. That's some scary shit, dude.
Yeah.
Freddy's Dead was all right. I mean, it was a little cheesy then. Then didn't they make like Wes Craven make like a? It was like the nightmare of.
After Freddy's Dead, that was supposed to be the last one, and Wes had never done another Elm Street film since the first one.
Oh,
and
really?
then
I did not know that.
So then, I think he might have helped with a couple story ideas on a couple. Like I think maybe the third one. I don't remember for sure, but he came back for the last one, which was Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, and is actually. I mean, he invented a new genre of horror films with Scream, and before that. He did basically the same thing with A New Nightmare, and it was that Freddy, it was kind of making fun of like all the stuff that had happened in the films, and it had Robert Englund as himself, and Wes Craven, and Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy in the first one in part 3, and they were all playing themselves.
Did they just start? He came alive or something.
Well, yeah, Freddy actually manifest into real life. Like there was actually a Freddy that was not Robert Englund, and he was a little more menacing looking. Like his glove wasn't a glove anymore; it was like
a metal hand?
like a skeleton hand. Like you could see the bones on top, and like it just naturally went into the claws, and like even his thumb had a claw. Jason history lesson.
Oh, right here.
All right. First one, he ain't even in the movie.
Yeah.
Second one, hillbilly Jason with a burlap sack on his head.
The first one was his mom, right?
Right.
Okay.
Third one, he finally gets the hockey mask. Fourth one, he dies. Straight up. Fifth one,
How do you die?
Corey Feldman takes a machete and smashes it into his brain.
Nice.
And he's dead. Like he is officially dead.
Okay.
So that Jason Funko Pop you got over there is not actually Jason.
The blue.
Right. You can tell because this one right here has like the red triangles on the hockey mask.
Yeah.
That one has blue ones. And in part 5, sorry if you never seen it. It's been like 30 years though.
Yeah.
So Corey Feldman's character is now like a young adult, and he is in like a halfway house for kind of like troubled people, mental disabilities, crime people, whatever. And Jason keeps, with air quotes for the listeners, is killing people, but you never really see it. It actually kind of seems like the first movie again. It's kind of like a whodunit, but the whole time you're just thinking it's Jason. And at the end, and this is actually messing with Corey Feldman's character, Tommy Jarvis, because it's not Corey Feldman anymore. But it's messing with his psyche because he's just like, I killed Jason, but he's still killing people and blah, blah, blah. Well, it actually ended up being a disgruntled person in the film.
Really?
Like, dressed as...
So basically Jason isn't really doing the killing.
Didn't do anything because Jason's dead. At the beginning of part 6, Tommy Jarvis is like, I need to prove once and for all that he is dead. And he goes to where... Yeah, he goes to the cemetery, sees where he's buried, opens the casket. He's in there dead. He hasn't moved. And somehow that's still not enough. So he goes and he takes a pole and he just starts stabbing him with it. Gets struck by lightning. Yep. Frankenstein. Jason's alive. And this is what is now referred to as Zombie Jason.
Oh, I didn't know this.
I had that one on beta. All my horror movies were on beta
that's
back
awesome.
in the day. My dad recorded them all, put them on there so we could watch them all.
Really?
That was good. Nobody
So
knows
then-
about beta really. You don't even know what beta is? It's like a smaller
we had 'em.
VHS.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Beta's, or I'm sorry, that was VHS's.
Competition.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard about the competition, but I didn't.
So what's it take to scare you when it comes to horror movies? We've got, as we get older, we understand that it's developed, it's manufactured. So what does it take to scare Billy?
Oh, I'm trying to remember exactly when the movie came out. The last thing that like gave me like actual chills and on my drive home, like looking around like scared, was Signs.
Oh,
And, you know,
sure.
and it ain't even like
it's not even
a
yeah, it's not
scary movie, but it was just like how real it felt like that first time. Like you've all seen the movie, so at he's watching the kids party on TV or whatever,
Vamonos.
where like with the, vamonos,
Yeah.
vamonos, move.
Yeah, it's on the news or whatever.
It's on the news, and the alien like walks through like an alleyway, and that's like the first time you actually see it, and they freeze frame it, and like his reaction was like the same thing I had. I'm just like, holy shit, like, wow. And like just the whole way home, even thinking about it, I'm just like any little thing that like
Yeah.
ran out in the
You
street
always
or
wanna
something,
look
I'm
at
just
the
like,
fucking
oh
road.
geez, like that was the last thing that really got me. And that came out in what, like 2000?
4.
Yeah, ish, somewhere around there.
4, 3.
So I mean, it's been well over 10 years since like I've been scared. Anymore, it's just like I see something scary and I hear other people get scared or whatever. Like it just makes me smile.
that's your entertainment.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. So like I get the feeling of what it's supposed to be, but I don't get scared. So yeah, I guess Signs.
So, not bad.
You, David? What's to scare you?
I mean, dolls to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Is that why you like Chucky so much?
Yeah, I mean, just the whole premise of that. You know, the first one when he tried to tell his mom, Chucky did it. Chucky did it. You know, even at the end when the mom knows, the cop knows, then even the other cop comes in at the very end, picks up the head, says, "Look, it's just a doll," and gets choked out. You can't really tell somebody that a doll is coming to kill me. Nobody's gonna believe you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, even when he goes to the foster home afterwards, then he sees the doll fall out of the closet.
Yeah.
Shit, that scared me. I put myself. Like I said, that beta.
The babies.
That's when I first watched it, and I was probably like 6, 7 years old. And we had one of those actual good guy dolls. It wasn't like the Chucky
Well,
one.
it was the
but
My Kid Buddy.
The My Kid Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the basement. You know, we keep our extra pop down there in like 2 liters. My mom would be like, "Go downstairs, get another pop." I was like, "Hell no, I ain't going." Or I would, and I'd be like, really,
Where is
real
he?
sketched out about it.
Little
Yeah.
fucking doll running
Yeah,
around.
flip all the lights on as soon as possible. Grab that shit, run upstairs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
as a kid, man, like I did not like scary movies. Like it wasn't until I started like having sleepovers at friends' houses or whatever that they're watching them. I'm like, yeah, I like scary movies. But then like, you kind of have to brave up a little bit so you're not a pussy in front of your friends.
Right.
But yeah, Chucky, dude. Yeah, it's like my mom wouldn't even get me a My Kid Buddy doll because it was,
after she's seen it? Or
well, yeah, because she knew how much it would mess me
yeah.
up.
See, now I want to buy one of those right now and just like send it to my sister because I know that would scare her. I mean, if somebody sent me a doll like that, and in the
Like
mail,
no
and I opened
return-
it, and it was like, yeah.
No return
Yeah,
address.
I'd be like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking burn this thing right now. I ain't taking no chances.
Yeah, like
It's
porcelain dolls, like kind of scare me.
So what are you scared like the Annabelle? I mean, does that kind of scare you?
Yeah,
'Cause-
kind of like an Annabelle, like those porcelain. I mean, like just the eyes. That was what kind of scary.
Next
scary.
time you're over, you're gonna have to come into my bedroom.
Oh, all right.
We're gonna make it
It's not-
hurts.
It's not like I haven't been. Not like I
No,
haven't been there before.
my wife has a porcelain doll collection, and
Oh.
if you've seen that, you'd be like,
I'll be like,
"Fuck no,
Ace
man!"
Ventura, and when nature calls, we walks into the God. You know that room where it has a bunch of heads. You ever when nature calls Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
He walks into that room and it has a bunch of like
It's the game room.
yes,
No,
the
okay.
game.
The
room.
big
He has
game
all these
room.
dead-
Oh,
Dead
oh,
animals
gotcha.
everywhere. He's like,
Yes.
he's all scared and shit. I'm gonna be like that. But what about you, Ryan? What's takes it to scare you?
Yeah, horror's entertaining for me, but I think what probably disturbs me more than scares me, which isn't quite your question, but it's disturbing when things are based off of a true story.
Sure.
So if it's not, again, coming back to it being manufactured, it was just really, really creative for someone to come up with. But when they start basing things off of true stories and stuff, then that's the part that really kind of turns me. I guess when it's horror, Descent freaked me out the most, and I screamed like a little girl when we watched that. When my wife and I watched that, and we were just kicking it in bed, and the cave dwelling people.
Oh yeah.
When they just started, the camera would shift, and all of a sudden there's this, not even a silhouette, just this bright cave dwelling, dilapidated face, blind to anything, just high pitched scream, freaked the shit out of me.
Have you guys seen The Descent?
Yeah.
And the second one was just as good.
I'm claustrophobic as fuck. So
right,
getting stuck in those caves, I'd never go cave diving like that. If I was like, that's too small, I'm not even risking it. Because how are you gonna get out of that? You know what I mean?
That's an interesting thing that I recently heard a pretty good analogy of like what can actually scare you or make you feel dread for people in horror films. Like if you're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you see Leatherface like chainsaw someone's head off, like we don't know what that feels like.
No.
But if someone gets like a pencil in the eyeball or something, like not that we've had a pencil in our eyes, but like we've been poked in the eye or we've been poked with a pencil,
you can relate.
You can relate to it, and that's when you're like, oh man, that's fucked up. Like, or like the really extreme stuff where like they start like putting shit like under like needles in your fingernails and stuff. Like what that kind of would feel like.
Saw like you could watch it, but it was just the way like these things were set up to kill people. Because pain everybody feels pain. So
right.
With Saw, it was always like that for me. Like watching, it's like
like when she gets
bones.
thrown in the needle pit.
Needle pit. I was just gonna say,
like you know what it's like to get stabbed with one.
Yeah. So when you get stabbed by a punch landing on.
But yeah, with the claustrophobic thing of The Descent, like we all know what it's like to be in a tight space, and if you got stuck in one, I mean that's why like 127 days or whatever, or 127 hours. Yeah, like you're stuck in a cliff for who knows how long. Like,
and you could be 10 feet away from the outer.
Yeah,
you could be 10 feet away from that outer perimeter, and you won't even know it.
So yeah, that stuff is legit scary.
What scares me, I think I'm scared. I hate. I can't watch. I used to be braver as a kid. I don't even think I was brave as a kid.
You're just dumb.
It's just like that and my sister. She was older, and my cousins. I had a bunch of older cousins and stuff. They would always watch scary movies, and I would be the little kid sitting there like, oh God, Or my sister would babysit me, and she would put on like The Exorcist, Poltergeist and stuff, and like I would watch it with her. But like there'll be times where like I don't want to watch this, she'll watch it so many times. We had like, how many Exorcists were there? I know
there's
like 4.
Well, back like now or
well, I'm talking about back then with the same
3.
3. Okay, so we had all 3 because they do one when she's older, right?
That's the second one.
Okay, well I watched all of them with her. I just remember like
there's only 2 with her in it.
Okay, so I watched whatever ones we had.
Yeah,
but she would like turn them up. Like I go to my room and she would turn it up, so I would hear like and all this shit. I'm like, dude, I'd be crying. I'm like,
fuck me, Louie, fuck me.
Dude, I'd be watching this shit. Like one thing that stuck some like
he's in the
head.
bedroom jacking off.
Yeah, he is.
I was a little kid, man.
Pea soup, pea soup.
I'll be tugging at my wiener, like butters, Anyways, but there was the Pazuzu. That's like the
Pazuzu, with a P.
That's still well, but I always said Pazuzu. But
no,
Pazuzu. Yeah. That always stuck in my head because fucking my sister would turn that part up with all locusts and that guy that he's sitting in the chair and he spits that apple, whatever, no spikes. I don't know if it was a cherry. I don't know if it was like
angle your mic just a little bit more.
I don't know if it was a cherry or whatever, but he spits it out and that one guy has to step on it barefoot and the spikes go through his foot for him to enter like a different like dimension or world or something. I don't know. Anyways, that part always like
he's making that up. Fact
Yeah.
check.
Fact
Yeah.
check it. Fact check it. No, it's in the movie. It's I
Oh,
remember
no,
it because
yeah,
I mean
yeah.
I remember like the locusts. Like it showed a lot of locusts like in the fields and shit during that. It was like African. That's when
Yeah. Okay.
the whole Pazuzu part
Yeah.
happened. That still like creeps me the fuck out. But anyways, what I'm scared of is demonic stuff and
Ghosts.
alien
Oh,
stuff.
alien. Yeah.
Yeah, ghosts not so much. I mean, I the scary shit, but more the demonic side
Sure.
of like paranormal shit and UFO stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you said signs, I was like, yeah, like dark skies,
Mm-hmm.
fucking anything alien wise, I fucking can't watch.
Have you seen all the paranormal activities?
I think I stopped at like maybe what is it 3?
There's
more than
there's
that.
6.
6. Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
I might have stopped at 3.
They
the
all
third
come
one.
back
They
together
were
too.
Yeah.
pushing those out pretty quick.
Yeah. 1, 2, and 3 were all pretty good. 4 was kind of like, and then they
Which
came
one-
out
which
with the
one's the
5th,
fourth
the
one?
marked ones, where it was like in Mexico.
I
fucking
think it was
real.
LA,
or
wasn't it?
oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
In Mexican. part of
Mexican.
town.
It's still Mexico.
Sounds like a Hispanic.
Sorry, I'm a white guy. I don't know shit.
But the egg thing, when they do the egg around his head, and then if it
Yeah.
breaks open and blood came out, I guess that's a real kind of
But
Ritual?
witchcraft thing. Yeah.
But yeah, they put in a lot of, I mean, because Hispanic heritage
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
culture has a lot to do with paranormal things, and they integrated that, and it was really cool. And then it's still connected to like the first film, and
Really?
it was really good. And then there was one more after it.
That shit scares me.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say like the closest thing that's gotten me to feeling that was the first Conjuring. I mean, it's to me, it's probably like the best like made ghost film there is. It's awesome.
We were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah, you were because we were confused with like Insidious and The Conjuring and Annabelle.
Yeah.
Well, not
Don't they have the
Annabelle,
same
but-
actor? The
Well,
guy?
and Insidious and Conjuring both directed by the same
yeah,
director.
so
They
it
had
has the
kind
same
of
kind
the
of
same-
visual.
Yeah.
But then the
The husband, the guy. And
the
the
Yeah.
husband,
yeah.
he's the same guy.
He's
in both
yep,
movies?
he's in both.
See,
of
that's
them.
what confused me. I've seen them all.
Sure.
But then I
Yeah,
was
and they
like, I don't
came
even
out
remember which
fairly
one's what.
close to each other. I could see
Yeah.
where. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Insidious.
Insidious is.
and-
I love that too.
And Annabelle is still going on, right? I mean,
Doesn't
it's
that tie into it too? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Annabelle is the doll
Conjuring.
from the beginning of Conjuring.
Okay.
And then I didn't really like the first Annabelle film, but I really liked the second one.
This one that just came
Mhm.
out. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So yeah, they're doing their spin-offs. If you've seen the second
Mhm.
Conjuring, there's going to be a Nun movie and a Crooked Man movie, and
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I liked Insidious. I like
Yeah.
that. I
yeah,
can
there's a
handle
fourth
that.
one coming out.
Yeah, I like the story because I mean I've always heard of astral projecting and like
Mhm.
sleepwalking or like leaving your body. I've had like dreams like that where like I can like see myself in well not see myself, but I can see like my house and shit. I've had dreams when I was younger. I haven't had any lately, but like when I was younger, I would see myself like jumping up into the sky, and like you can see my house, see the neighborhood. And it's nighttime, and I would come back down scared I'm gonna break my legs. But then as soon as like I get scared, boom, I'm back up in the air again. And I had plenty of dreams like that. And like me and my buddy Christian Freed, I don't know, you guys know him.
Friday
Yeah, shout out to him.
all week.
We had a conversation about stuff, and he started talking about this dream or astral projection. And I was listening in, and he's like, how he said that his body was vibrating, and the room was orange. And then I stopped him. And I was like, dude, did you hear like car horns or something going wah wah, you know? And he's like, to him he said, no, I felt like a frequency, like a loud frequency that go like wah, you know? To me it sounded like car horns. So
Sure,
to
that's
have
how you
someone-
interpreted
yeah,
it.
so to someone describing the same shit that I went through and saying that he said that he looked it up and it's like astral projecting or whatever, like when your body's coming back into your soul coming back into your body or whatever. I was like, holy shit, I had that happen to me. And
Yeah.
that's one of the dreams that stuck with me since like it's an old. I mean, this happened like a long time ago to me, but I still remember it till this day. And like the way he explained, I was like, I had the same fucking thing happen to me. And I was like, he's like, it's astral projection.
Wow.
Whatever. So I was like, oh, so that's why Insidious like is like kind of real to me
Sure.
in a way, like, you know, walking out of your body and stuff. I mean, of course, there's
And they
some-
explain that a lot more in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like that one.
Yeah.
You know, who knows if ghosts are going trying to get back into your body, but still, like, it's pretty.
Have
cool.
you ever felt like you couldn't get back in your body?
No, I never. I've never gotten that far. I mean, what they would call it,
Try it.
lucid dreaming. Oh, yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Try it. Keep going
Hey,
to the
folks,
further.
he's not
Going
on
to the
next week.
further.
Going to the further. Don't come back.
I ain't going to find you like that.
I would try, but
Oh, thanks,
I
Billy.
don't have those dreams, so you're fucked.
Oh,
I
great.
think like
Maybe Friday will help you.
70% of my dreams have to do with horror type stuff. Not necessarily like the characters and everything that are, out in movies, but just something that's scary. Something, kind of like you're talking about. But I mean, there's been times where I've had Freddy dreams a lot. I've had Chucky dreams a lot, especially when I was younger. I was scared to go to sleep sometimes. I was like, man, I know I'm about to just dream about Chucky again. It's just gonna scare me. I'm gonna wake up, and then I'm gonna be terrified to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of scary dreams?
Kind of. I like the
I
reoccurring
don't.
ones.
I don't think so. You and I had and Dan Carr had a pretty good
Yeah, we
dream
had a good
conversation
a long time ago in the summer
Yeah.
when I told you I was like, oh yeah, I did say I would have Dan on here. But
Yeah.
didn't. Sorry, Dan. But yeah,
Oh,
we talked
tonight?
about- well, remember I that night we
Right.
had these conversations
yeah.
about scary shit and dreams.
Luis,
and-
where'd you get here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I ain't gonna get into that one though.
But
That's your story.
yeah, but I said, hey, we're gonna have a Halloween podcast later in the future, and I want to bring you guys on. But like,
Bring him on for the paranormal podcast.
paranormal podcast.
Ah,
Yeah, I've
jeez,
had a
Hannah
lot
would
of-
want to be down on that one.
I had a lot of
Hannah would want to come down on that one.
She had a lot of paranormal stuff.
She's all about the paranormal.
Yeah. I saw her messing with the Ouija board. I told her not to fuck with
Oh,
the-
shit.
fuck with
Which
shit.
Do you
I was
have one
gonna.
here?
No, we do not. Absolutely not.
I would not mess with that.
Yeah, I've tried that. That's actually gonna bring that up with you.
I would.
Yeah. What? You know,
I'll watch.
you're not afraid of the Ouija board?
No, not really. I guess if we're gonna move slightly into the paranormal thing, I just recently had something a little crazy happen
Oh shit!
Yeah.
at my
Yeah,
house where
yeah.
you've been.
Right where you were standing.
I probably brought it in there.
No, there's my TV and like the stand that has like the Xbox and stuff on it. I got like a little wicker
Downstairs
chair
or upstairs?
downstairs.
Downstairs. Okay, yeah. No.
So there's like a wicker chair down there, and I was sitting in that, looking at some vinyl and stuff. And for days, I had a TV like dinner stand thing, dinner tray, whatever those are called, sitting like kind of just like behind me to the left a little bit. And it, like I said, it'd been there for days. It actually had some VHS on it because we're going through cleaning out the house and pulled out all of our old stuff and whatever. So it had some VHS on it. Not that really matters, but just trying to paint the picture.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting, and right behind me to the left is this TV stand, dinner stand, whatever. And out of nowhere, I see this thing just like lift and drop on its top side.
You saw the table flip.
Yes, not like push over, like fall over, like it didn't, like even if it got bumped, like it might have fell over or something, but like I wasn't like just moving frantically to where it would have knocked this thing over. It wasn't
Clearly
even
handled.
it like lifted and went on its top side, and I was just like, holy
fucking
shit,
cool.
I can't believe that actually, like. And I've had like little things happen at my house, but I mean maybe some of it actually can't be explained away, but it was nothing like you've also seen like I got a bunch of figures and stuff, and like I'll see figures like on the floor that like were way in the back or something. Like I have Puppet Master replicas, creepy dolls. This would probably fuck you guys up. Like the way I have them displayed, I have one that is like in the back, like behind a couple of them, and like I didn't see anything happen, but I came downstairs and this one in the back was laying on the floor, and the only way to get that out is by removing the other ones. And this one in the back was on the floor, and the other stuff was all still standing in its exact spot. And it's just like, how the hell does this, whatever, so like little things happen, but actually witnessing this table flip over on its top side, I'm just like,
that's kind of.
okay, something's actually up.
You guys got a lot of dolls and a lot of like convention stuff too, right?
Yeah,
And who knows if any of that convention stuff has
this is
could have brought stuff
this is
with
true.
you. Yeah.
this is true. Never
So
thought about
you
that.
could have brought something with you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some scary stuff. I just don't like ghosts and paranormal stuff. I've seen stuff and especially like UFO shit. I've seen a lot of that. You know, I'm always looking at the sky and stars, and I've witnessed a couple weird things up there. But that's why it's scary to me.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, that shit is real. You know, it's a dimension, something that we can't comprehend yet because we don't have the technology or the answers to yet. So it's still kind of, you know, even though we know it's there, paranormal's there, we still don't know why or what, you know. So that's kind of some scary shit right there.
So we have a thing that we bring up in the cast about superpowers. So being that this is more Halloween and horror based, we're going to shift that superpower to the super figure. If you could have the powers of a horror character, what would you choose?
Oh, shit.
It's definitely putting you on the spot.
You gotta think about it. I'll just right away say Freddy. If I can kill people in their dreams, that'd be awesome.
I mean, it kind of seems like the obvious, you know, like, I mean, not like it's obvious, but like it seems like the coolest, you know, like I'd kind of want to think is, yeah, to have
you
Freddy
automatically know their fears. You know, so you know what they're scared of, and then also you can get away with it. Basically.
Yeah.
No one's gonna believe like this person got fucked up in their dreams, and yeah, I mean, killing people in their dreams is probably the best way to go.
What about you?
Well, I'm a Freddy fanatic, and I liked the Nightmare movies, you know, more than anything.
Yeah.
But there was still something, you know, super mysterious about Jason Voorhees. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's something to be said about being able to walk so slow and still
Michael Myers too.
catch up with what you need to do with.
You get to live in a camp area. You don't have to pay any bills. You can relax if you want. You can kill if you want.
Well, shit, you could be like, I saw like a Vine about like, I think it was Mike Myers or something. You know how like they're always just walking towards like, and they're still like keeping up with these people running.
Yeah.
That showed like a person like getting on a fucking car, driving away, getting on a plane, flying away, and all this, and he's still right behind you. You know.
Yeah.
And Michael Myers, if you learn how to fucking teleport like him, that'd be dope,
Well,
too.
he's like that, and then Jason's like that. They're both kind of got that same thing going on.
There's
So are we including like hack slash in with? I assume that's probably incorporated with
the comic.
the horror.
Sure.
Well, that the comic's tight, but if we're going to integrate that into, I guess, the horror aspect and stuff like that, that opens up a few more characters.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite movies is The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
That's a creepy one.
Love
It's
it.
real creepy, man. Going out into an area where there's no life, you know what I mean? Just
So that'd be your power.
Well,
yep, just to go out there.
I'm just gonna be a mongoloid mutant up
Yep.
in the desert. I mean, that's
not be able to
pretty.
get any more pussy anymore unless you kidnap that girl.
No.
Oh,
They
yeah.
still get some.
They do.
Yeah. Well,
Gotta
and that's an
kidnap those
interesting
girls.
thing because, like, they hey, you know, you gotta lower the bar, you know.
Awesome.
But like it's a neat story based in, you know, it was somewhat of a realism, you know, like it was the nuclear
bombs.
testing back in the 50s, and you know, what if people did get hit with radiation, get all fucked up and whatnot.
Not want to leave. That's another
No.
reason they didn't want to leave their area.
Like, but one of the deaths that stick. Like, there's always certain movies. Like, there's always one death that always like sticks in my head. There's that one. I think might have been the Hills Have Eyes 2,
Yeah.
where the guy
There's
is,
a little more military in there.
yeah, one of the military guys is getting caught in this hole. One
Like,
of the
grabs
Hills
his
Have Eyes-
ankle?
Yeah, and then like his foot, you can still see his foot like up here.
He's trying to push off the wall.
Yeah, and someone's trying to pull him in, but his leg is up here, and his torso's this way, but one of your legs is all the way up here, and then he's fucking dragging him in there.
Louie, you got to get on your mic.
He gets pulled down. Do you remember that? Do you remember that in that
No, I'm
movie?
watching. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen the whole movie. I've seen
Yeah.
both of them, man. Yeah.
That death, I was.
And
always
then
like,
his leg
fuck.
goes up over his head because it just snaps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, oh fuck! Imagine dying that way.
When they were scaling down, or when they were scaling down or going up from the side of the cliff, and they sliced the rope, and you just kind of see the two people get smaller and smaller, and then they hit that rock,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
his just head
Oh
explodes.
yeah.
That was that worked me over a bit.
The original Hills Have Eyes, Wes Craven.
Yeah, and I didn't know about that. Until
Yeah, the
recently.
original and the remake are really similar to each other. Yeah.
I watched a little bit of the original. It just
you know,
didn't look
it's
that visually appealing, so I didn't get that much into it. But
right. I mean, it's old, But there's two movies just based off, kind of the subjects we've been talking about that I would recommend you guys check out. One is going back and you guys talking about like, Michael and Jason, like they can just walk and, still catch up to you. There's a movie called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And he basically he gets this like documentary film crew to like follow him around because he wants to be like the next big slasher character. And he's kind of giving like the secrets of what his predecessors, Jason, Freddy, Mike, all them do. And like they all exist in this world. And he's like, do you understand how much cardio it takes to be like one of these guys? Like you have to like walk and make it seem like you're chasing them around without actually chasing them, like in running. So like, they purposely set up like a distraction to where you turn your head and then that's when he runs off and he has like a little, path he can take that now he's over here. And it's really cool. It's really good.
Speaking about that, we used to play like back in my old neighborhood where my mom lives. We had a lot of neighborhood kids in there. A lot of kids grew up in that neighborhood, and we played a game. We called it Slasher, the Slasher, and someone would wear a scream mask.
Yeah.
It's basically tag or hide and go seek in the whole neighborhood.
Ghost in the
And
graveyard.
One of my buddies was actually really good at it. Well, Ghost in the Graveyard, but like this is like tag and no boundaries. Like I mean,
did you go to the park, Sun Valley?
no, we didn't let people go down there because it's too much, too big of a field. We did like
You were scared.
well just different areas in the neighborhood because we were still cutting through people's houses and shit.
Yeah.
Well, this person, his name was Brad Chapman. He was one of my buddies at the time. He was so fucking good at being like a slasher killer. We always picked him. And he was okay with it. He's like, okay, fine, I'll wear the mask and chase you guys. He would pop up. Like we'll see him one area, and the next thing he'll be in front of us. And he was so good at cutting through houses
Oh my God.
and being a fucking killer. Like, and then every time someone would get killed, we'd have an extra mask and be like, okay, your turn. You have to join him. So like the more and more people he killed, they would join him. And then we run out of masks, and then there'll just be
Just
people.
one person.
It was just one person as a killer, and then
No. I mean, I'd say you had 5 people. Do you have 4 masks at one point? And
We
then
had, like,
just
I
one
think at the
person
most we had
left
3.
out there.
We had like 3 or whatever, and like there was a lot more kids playing, but like yeah, he would be the slasher killer. Can you imagine that? You'd hear like kids that get caught and like get stabbed and shit. It was still scary. Even
Did
though
the
you're
cops
not
ever
dying.
come?
There was one time
'Cause you're
where
in Bellevue.
we got caught, and someone called the cops because they thought they were breaking into their garage.
Oh,
Oh.
not
We were
that
still-
somebody was getting killed.
We were still playing tag though, or the game Slasher, and everybody's still running around. And I remember me and my couple buddies were like hiding behind some like bushes and trees and stuff in this house, and like we saw cops running on foot, and we saw more down the street. And we're like, what the fuck? Everybody's still playing tag and
Yeah.
running around this little. Imagine this neighborhood full of cops running around too, full
Jesus.
bunch of little kids, and we're just running around. And of course, like we're like, dude, those are fucking police because they had the flashlights out and shit. Everybody's still booking it. They never caught us, so everybody met up at this one house. If you remember Jason Schuschnarr, Jake Schuschnarr, it was their house. We met up at the top of their house. Everybody's, back in the day, everybody used to meet up with bikes.
Yeah.
At people's house, you knew everybody was there because all the bikes would be in the yard. Well, those were all at my house, and we had a trampoline, so they went to my house, the cops, knocking on my door, or my parents, and they had like my little sister go look for us. And all the kids are grouped up at Jason's house on the top of the circle. They said they almost let out the canine on us. They were calling the fucking helicopter. I mean, Bellevue cops have nothing better to do than fucking,
Well, such a small area and so many cops.
oh, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. I remember going home, and, like, you basically like, telling me to shut up and all this shit. But yeah, it was still fun. But yeah, cops are fucking bullshit.
All right, so
That's what scares me.
We're going to take a break here just a little bit to
Yeah.
kind of charge up a little bit, but
okay.
we'll be back in just a moment.
All right, so you were talking the slasher game that you used to play, and
Yeah,
it
slasher.
reminded me of something that you had a friend that would, play the character or whatever. So maybe we've all had it. I don't know for sure, but like I had that moment of time where it was really cool and fun and mysterious to go to Hummel Park.
Yeah, I think everybody's been to that park.
Sure.
186 steps.
So
So they say.
yeah, I don't know. But
albinos. And
yeah. I took my brother-in-law. My headphones keep going out. Anyway, I can't hear nothing, but so there we go. So yeah, back on track. Hummel Park. Took my brother-in-law. He was still in high school. And the first time we went there, like, he was so scared just because, like, when you get there, like, you start getting the feeling and the trees are hanging over the road and, like, we pulled up and, like, I actually think there was somebody in a Michael Myers mask and he was just like, fuck that, I ain't going in there. So we left. So then we went another time and he had fun there and realized the creepy potential of it and everything, and he's like, hey, you know what, like, I'm gonna bring some of my high school friends to this, and none of them knew me, and I've long black hair, black clothes, whatever.
All dark side.
Right. We actually made a website and a cult. This is all fictional that we just made up. But we made this idea up that there was a cult there called the Black Jacket Society, BJ's, and made up a website and like talked about like all the legend and everything about all the things that has or has not actually happened there, and like wrote it to where like the Black Jacket Society was who was really the ones involved with all of it. Like, no, like there's no albinos. That's just the story, the myth that people came up with. It was actually the Black Jacket Society, which I came up with because I was really into Black Label Society, Zach Wilde's band. So he's at a friend's. He's like, oh, we need to check this out, this website. And they're like reading this stuff and they're getting kind of creeped out, but a couple of people are like, no, this is fake, whatever, blah blah blah. And like there was a power outage like right in the middle of it, so they all got freaked out by it. They're like, oh my god, like it's like talking to us or something. So anyway, we go there. I stay like in the back seat. He goes off with his friends, and since I know the area, none of his friends have been there before. I go run off. I have a long black trench coat. I'm like in the woods and I slowly start following them around. And I got like my hair in my face and stuff. And I actually like Sting. I had a baseball bat up the sleeve and I would just like shoot it out and just like point it at people.
That's awesome.
And like his friends were just getting freaked the fuck out. And, like, they'd run off. And then I'd run one way, run the other way, and then I would cut them off. And they're like, oh, my God, how the fuck you get here? And it was really fun, and it worked really well. And then I went back to the top of the hill, and I see some people. And I just, like, stop, and I just, like, look over, and I point at them with the bat. And I just, like, keep staring at them, and like they get on their phone and they're like, fuck man, are you on your way? Yeah, well, you better hurry your ass up. So some motherfuckers here, blah blah blah, with the bat. Like, you got the gun, right? I'm like, oh shit. Like, this isn't his friends. These are another group of people that I just started fucking with. So I slowly, like, I didn't break character. I just kept staring at him, and as soon as I was out of eye view, like, I ran, and I called my brother-in-law, like, dude, like, game over, man. Like, I just was messing with some people, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that was my story for that, and
They probably lied too. They're probably like, just make it look. You got the gun, right?
I
You
didn't.
know?
I didn't care. That
Yeah,
was
without
done and
making you
over
think
with,
twice.
and
Like that.
and
Like,
Well, they had
fuck
those people trying to be clowns, not too long ago. Was it last year?
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. And I was wondering how none of them got shot because. Well,
I heard some. One
Well, a lot
I'm
of it
sure
was.
some of them might have, but
well, and I mean, this is probably about 10 years ago or a little more than that now. So like, not that that guns hasn't always been a thing or whatever. Like, it wasn't as much of a thing that it is now. That
Yeah.
everyone's like got to have a gun or whatever. Not that I care about any of that stuff, but I was lucky that
Yeah.
like nobody
No doubt.
did. But
But me-
anyway,
I feel
that's
like
my
it's-
slasher story.
Just
Go
slasher
on
stuff.
with whatever.
Well, I mean, I guess we can go on to another topic about like Halloween memories of like. I feel like Halloween nowadays isn't the same as it used to be.
I agree.
Like people.
Well, that's because you're an
trick-or-treating-
adult, dude.
Well, I'm not even saying that. Like,
Nah, I know.
there's not that many kids trick or treating. I remember like when you were a kid, dude. I used to stuff my fucking pillowcases. full
Oh,
of
gosh.
candy. You go back home, get the next pillowcase, and keep going. Go through the neighborhoods.
the good houses, we'd all like switch masks and jackets and whatever, so we looked like different people. Go back up,
Yeah.
do that like
Trick
2 or
or
3
treat.
times for the giant size
And
bars.
people would decorate their houses.
Oh, yeah.
more in
and you
those
get the
times.
occasional old person to give you a fucking apple or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I ate that shit.
I remember
No,
there was in our neighborhoods, and there's like we knew the pop lady, the popcorn ball person, which I don't know nowadays you probably wouldn't take a popcorn ball from somebody that they made.
I don't know.
See, that
Still
again,
take
that's-
one.
I would.
I would. I
Like,
like
yeah,
it.
okay. It's like I jizzed in it. but it's
Oh,
not
come
good.
on.
You never know.
Mm.
Fuck.
Check the
Sweet and salty.
Ate a lot
Now you're
of
getting into a
pineapple.
whole different type of horror.
check the registry
Yeah.
before you go out. Know where those pedophile people live. Skip
Yeah,
that.
every
That's
house
really
is on the
funny.
block.
They're
It's
probably
fucking-
outside with the lawn chair waiting and shit.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore. Halloween ain't like.
I don't know. I mean, now that I have my own house and like it's in a decent neighborhood. I mean, it's as far as like there's a lot of houses that hand out and there's kids and stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like what it used to be when we were kids, but I guess at the same time, like maybe I was a kid and like 50
Everything seemed
people
better.
seemed like 100.
Yeah.
So
No, but
I don't
can
know. I
tell.
think last year we had like 40, 50 people at least, come to our house.
I just remember like the fire trucks being out in the
Sure.
neighborhood.
Oh, shit.
Well, when I go all
you know.
out, man, we had a blow up projector. Well, we had a projector and a blow up screen outside, and we're playing like old Ghostbusters cartoons, and I deck out my yard as much as I can, and so
That's you though,
yeah. I mean, I try and make it an experience.
I feel like a
for-
lot more lights are like already off. Like
Oh, yeah.
porch lights are already
Yeah.
off. Then nobody's giving out candy anymore, and it's just kind of like dying out.
Economy.
Well, you
Yeah.
Don't wanna buy
might
that
want to
candy.
include like a lot of the bullshit that's kind of going on. You
yeah,
know, you've
it made
got
it scary.
there's nothing ever positive that's on the news. So
Sure.
here, what mother really wants their child to, walk around a dark neighborhood anymore? This shit got sour.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing I was talking about, with me being at Hummel, just like being of a different generation now, like it feels like we were part of like the last kind of bit where like there was still like an innocence to things. I think the way with social media and it's great and it's bad.
Yeah,
Like everything is out there. Everything. Like when we were kids, we didn't really think about like, are we gonna go to this house and get shot or kidnapped or raped or we're gonna get bad candy or whatever. Like now, like with the way everything is, like I could see where people would think that kind of stuff could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, on a brighter note, what was your favorite costume you remember going out in?
Oh
Let's take turns here.
Someone else go.
Dave.
It wasn't really like horror or anything. I was dressed up as Shaggy 2 Dope from ICP.
Ah,
I got a
that's
picture of me
awesome.
still right now on a Polaroid. I got a double-bladed knife, and I'm like licking it, and I got my Shaggy 2 Dope and the Riddle Box shirt on.
Which one's Shaggy? Which one's I
The
forget.
skinnier
The
one.
skinnier
Okay.
yeah,
Violent
yeah.
J was like the main rapper guy. Shaggy 2 Dope was like the second
Okay.
hype man. He had
Mhm.
verses too, but Shaggy 2
Skinnier
Dope.
one, I guess
Sure.
would be the easiest way.
Yeah.
to
Okay,
explain
no, that's cool.
it. And then my like double XL fucking Riddle Box shirt, and I was like 12. This shit's down to my fucking knees. I was
Dude,
like
the Riddle
thinking
Box
I'm
is
like
an
hard
awesome
and shit.
fucking album though. I just bought a shirt like 2 years ago. The Riddle Box. I like that album.
Yeah, I bought a wig, and my neighbor, she knew how to braid, so I made her braid
Yep.
all these dreads, put a stocking hat on it so
Yeah.
you couldn't see top.
Oh
and-
shit, Riddle Box,
Oh, yeah.
dude. Riddle Box 2 Dope. That's fucking awesome. You?
Mad Hatter.
You're the
Oh.
Mad Hatter?
Dark Hatter, actually, I should say.
Yeah.
That was probably actually my best one. I don't know. I guess it had probably the most character. You know, everything was characterized. You know, your great big hat. You know, and you'd have your checkered outfits and stuff like that. I did pretty good on that one. This I don't know. I'd probably still go trick or treating, just because it takes me back to my youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm up there a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'd still do it though. I got a lot of youth left in me yet.
I think we all do. I mean, that's, I think that's why we, still like, it's not just horror films. It's Halloween. It's the season of Halloween and
Everything
all
about
that.
it
It's
is.
just like, look, we got Funko Pops and, stuff up,
Toys.
like it's just fun. We all have that kid still
Yeah.
in us.
Well, even like I went to Val's yesterday.
Yeah.
You went to Val's what, like a week ago?
No, I was supposed to go tomorrow, but they canceled it because
Oh,
somebody
okay.
has to
Never
work.
mind.
But
But it's not like a scary.
I
like, a
try
bunch
and
of
go
scary
every
attractions.
year. I love
It's
it.
always fun. It's always fun. There's nothing scary there, but I mean, just like the fall and Halloween
Yeah.
feeling. It
Yeah.
doesn't have
I
to
beg
be
to
horror.
differ. I think the animatronics are still creepy as fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
They're just
I never really thought they were creepy as a kid, but like looking at them now, I'm like, man, those kind of fucked up.
I know. They're just all rickety.
We
and-
went there and like there wasn't that many people. So when me and my girlfriend went into the haunted house with the electronics, it was actually kind of like creepy, like watching these characters move and stuff and
Yeah.
smiling at you, and it's like nobody behind
Oh yeah,
you.
like the storyboard farm or storybook farm or whatever.
Well, just
Yeah,
like-
where they're all playing up on stage.
Well,
Is that what
there's like the one with like Hansel and Gretel and like Little Bo
Hansel and
Peep and
Gretel
shit. Like
had,
they
their
all
hands
look
dropped
scary
off.
and fucked up.
So I
in
picked it
there.
up and gave it to the witch and put it there like she ate it or something.
But yeah, the band that plays and yeah, it's,
Pirates.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that I found out like talk about Crystalina a little bit. She found out like I think her dad's name was Barbosa. So with Pirates of the Caribbean, I was like Barbosa. I was like, dude, this is your pirate area. Go! Like the pirates are singing,
Yeah.
and she's like, I'm like, you are Barbosa. I don't know. I thought that was funny.
That's kind of cool.
Always pick on her now, Barbosa.
He was one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the last one yet, it's pretty cool. Kind of.
Yeah,
I want to.
if he was your favorite character, yeah. Last movie was touching.
Yeah.
You learned some different things about it. What was that?
I popped a knuckle.
Oh, I thought someone farted at first.
leather chair probably.
Yeah. My favorite costume, I would have to be. Sorry, I had to go back to the subject, but would have to be. When I was a kid, my mom always had this neighbor lady she was friends with. She was like she sewed shit together. I guess how to explain. I don't know what they would call those.
You made a
people.
replica of her face.
No, but like she would have her like sew like a Ninja Turtle outfit for me.
Yeah.
So I'd have like she'd make this whole fucking shit from scratch.
Yeah.
So my favorite one's probably Ninja Turtle. I was a Ninja Turtle when I was young, and a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Instead of buying it from the store, this lady would make it. for
Yeah.
us. So we'd have
My mom always made my stuff.
Yeah, so I'd have like a big old turtle shell stuff. I remember getting scared one day and like falling backwards on it. It was all like cushiony.
And then you couldn't get up
Yeah.
because you're a turtle on your
I'm
back.
like, "Ugh." And then I was the Red Power Ranger, and instead of buying like stuff from the store, she got a motorcycle helmet and
Oh,
they
yeah?
put stuff around it to make it look like a power. So my head was like fucking huge, a little Power Ranger body. But God bless my mom and the lady. I mean, they made me my Halloween costume. So it would have to be like the Red Power Ranger and Ninja Turtles I grew up with. That was
Yeah.
my favorite.
I remember one of my early costumes, like, you know, being a real little kid, like my mom got me a really long, like just like an adult red shirt, put an A on it. I was Alvin.
Alvin,
Yeah, you know, put the little freckles on me, put the little red
Yeah.
hat. I remember doing that. Then a little later, like I remember being like a skeleton and scarecrow, and like I actually remember my mom made me this really sweet like Indian chief. Like I had the big headdress and stuff.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it was awesome, at least in my memory. You know?
Yeah.
But then like when I started like really starting to get into music for the first time, and like Kiss was the first band that I ever actually cared about, and you know, like dressing up as the Kiss members. One year we actually like did my makeup to where like it was all four of their faces like melded together.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And that was one of my most fun years, because it was like the first year I went out with friends and not my mom, and
Those are always.
that's when like that first year that like got a little rowdy too, you know, with the eggs and the you
Yeah.
know. So I had my 1 year of Halloween of doing some dastardly
Mischief
stuff.
night.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But so yeah,
Mischief night. TP house. You don't see that anymore as much.
No.
Anymore. TP and stuff.
Well, fuck, you get sued.
yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays you get sued. and
Well,
shit.
yeah, because you know we're
Or
like in our
shot.
30s and stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, little kids, you know. TP. Plus, it's like no one wants to
Go home, you
buy
little
toilet
shit.
paper anymore nowadays to go TP a house. It's like I need that shit, dude. I need to wipe my ass. You know. I wouldn't throw toilet paper. Fuck. Run out of that
Scrape
shit.
the eggs off.
So Brian, I mean, you said that you would still go out and trick or treat. Like, does anyone still dress up from time to time, or?
Yeah.
I try to every year. I actually don't know if I will this year, but
We 2 years ago, our neighborhood actually popped pretty good. Not so much directly around, you know, this home, but if you juke over a couple streets, then you know the whole, you know, quarter mile just has at it, and it's pretty cool. You know, we drove around for a little bit, and we were pretty excited because we wanted to make last Halloween just as good. We're like, shit, we haven't done this for years. You know, everyone dressed up. You know, Bob and Teresa and Reed and Angie, we get together and we do a little Halloween party, which actually was when I decided to be the Mad Hatter. Still got the outfit, so I kind of wanted.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to wear that to work this year, but you know, it's cool to still go back and do it. You
Mhm.
know, I'm gonna be 40 in February, but you know, just taking it back a little bit, it really does make it fun. There was a gap there. Where it was just like, you know, I don't have time for this, blah blah blah. But I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to do it again. You know, I think I'm old enough that I really wouldn't care. You know, whether you know there was someone handing out candy that you know wanted to poke fun at me or something like that. But now I would think that, oh, you know, he's no big deal. It's
Yeah.
cool, you know.
well, see, now it's
Throwback.
cool. I got a son on the way,
You do. And it's kind of in October, baby.
potentially.
Potentially. Yeah.
Potentially. So it just kind of got me like thinking about all that. Like it got me excited. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be going out like trick or treating again.
You're
for
one of
him.
those cool dads
Yeah.
making costumes that like you know like something that's like the same thing
Mhm.
or whatever you know.
Mm-hmm.
I could see you still dressing up too. you
Oh
know.
yeah, I totally would. I mean, I still do. So
That's
why not?
awesome. What about the worst outfit?
I remember being at Vala's, and like again, it was like the first year that like I didn't have my mom make something, and you know, Scream had just come out, and I remember just getting a cloak and just like a skull mask. That was not that it was like bad or shitty or anything. It was just like it was the least creative thing that I've done.
My
So.
parents were super creative when they were when we were kids, but it was almost in kind of a generic way as well. And I remember in 4th grade, the easiest thing to do that I thought the easiest thing to do would be to dress up like a cat, run your tail, put your hands up, and wear a black pair of onesie pajamas or something. However, my dad made an outfit for my sister, and it was nothing more than a painted box, white, with the dice polka dots on it. And she was wandering around. She was just this big cube that was a dice. That was it. I was like, we saw the pictures when we were flipping back through the family album, and I don't know. I was like, a fucking dice.
That's funny.
It's kind of creative though. In a way.
I mean, yeah, it is, but
generic creative. Yeah.
it's just a cardboard box that Megan was just kind of wandering around in. So, yeah.
I went to a club one time, and I was being real fucking lazy about it. I went with Tom Becerra, one of my buddies, who did a Edward Scissorhands.
Ooh. Oh, we went to the Max. I was with you.
No, you were there? Okay, yeah. You remember me? I had a polo on and some slacks, and I said I was Zac Efron just because I was just fucking being lazy about it. So, yeah, we went to the Max.
I think I was a monkey.
Matt wore like a skunk furry outfit.
Yeah, Elijah,
he's like, dude, I keep getting hit on. I'm like, dude, you fucking are wearing a
you're
skunk
a furry
outfit
dude.
to a,
dude,
know,
I
a
think
gay
some
club.
dude touched my ass that day.
Probably. I mean, you put yourself in that predicament. You know what I mean?
Oh, great.
You're at that.
You're a
place.
monkey. They probably wanted to spank you.
Yeah,
They thought
yeah.
I probably thought it was
they thought you dressed up to get attention, probably.
Oh, fuck me.
But anyways, he was Edward Scissorhands, made these scissors, and then he had the makeup on with the scars, pale face. He went up on the costume contest. It was a drag contest, dude. He had no business being up on that stage, man. He didn't get one clap. Next thing you know, fucking Trini goes up there or something, and they're all losing it. And Tom's
That's
like,
funny.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I think I remember him being pissed. It was a drag
They put a lot of work into that outfit, man.
Yeah, you look good, though.
Look good.
Yeah, it looked awesome, but yeah, it was a drag queen costume. Mine would have to be what I just loved. Like, yeah, I said, like, like the Power Ranger thing, because I'd have this, like, made Power Ranger suit with the big-ass fucking motorcycle helmet. The shit's kind of falling apart, too.
Yeah.
And I saw a kid across the street
with like a really good one.
Power Ranger, a legit Power Ranger helmet and stuff. I'm just looking at him like, I took my helmet off and I was like, I don't want to wear this anymore. I'm just gonna go around with the red. So even though I loved it and like I think I loved the fact that my mom did it for me and stuff. And then, but seeing that was also my worst.
He went inside and cried.
I think my least effective one was like, I'm gonna be SpongeBob. And like all I did was like I got a white shirt, red tie, the shorts, the shoes, and like I got the socks and whatever, and then I just painted my face yellow and put like the pores and stuff, and like I think the party that I went to was like it was bad lighting and they couldn't even tell that I had yellow makeup on, so they all thought I was Angus Young because I'm a guitar player, and then I'm like, no, I'm SpongeBob. They're like, oh, whatever. So yeah, I think that was like the least. Like I thought it was cool, but like nobody got it.
Well, now you have the hat because you got your Nickelodeon box. You got the little spatula and
oh my
the
god,
Krusty
I'm
Krab
gonna have to
hat.
try it again.
You're gonna have to try it again. 'Cause now you got the accessories. You got Nickelodeon box, and they gave him SpongeBob.
It's his
Krusty
little
Krab.
chef hat.
Oh yeah,
Krab chef hat and spatula.
Yeah,
spatula.
I was a big fan of SpongeBob. Still am.
Yeah, I love SpongeBob. It's like the last.
Recite the movie.
It's like the last, like, really good, like, old style animation. Anyway, back to horror stuff.
Let's go back to horror stuff. You're a fan of Chucky. We got to get to Chucky because I know you watch a lot of Chucky. I watched the colder Chucky. I was very disappointed. I
wasn't.
You weren't?
No.
Really?
But we'll get into it.
Okay. I was on the edge of it. I watched this review where somebody broke it down a little bit more just because I want to see other people's perspective from it. And the way they, were saying stuff, it kind of was like, oh, okay, I get why they did that. The only thing that I got lost during the whole series was Jennifer Tilly playing herself, and then
that's like my least.
It was sloppy.
I don't even mind Seed of Chucky that much, but like that is like my least favorite thing of the series of Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly, like.
It's sloppy.
Yeah, it was
like they rushed.
I think. I mean, I know what they were going for, but it just wasn't executed right.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's the word. Wasn't executed right
Yeah.
Right.
at all. But I mean, like I said, the first one, and then the second one, we already talked about that a little bit. But then the third one, actually, the director didn't even really like that one because it was rushed into production so quick after that second
Sure.
one. You know, both of those other two took off the first and the second one. So they said, here, just make another one. But they gave him a short amount of time. I think you want to say it was like a year or maybe just 2 years. But he had to write a script, you know, do everything. It was the one at the Army.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one, actually.
No, I do too.
And then
Is there a scene where someone throws a grenade and someone jumps on it and
Yep.
blows up? Okay, that's one death that I remember from that
yeah,
movie.
because what Chucky did was basically replaced all the fake
Bullets.
Yeah, all the
All the
fake
paint.
bullets,
Yeah.
with real ammunition. and
Which
then-
that's
that could happen.
like that ain't even scary. That's just fucked up.
That could happen.
And it
you know?
could
Right.
happen.
Well, just look at the Crow.
Realistically.
You know, fucking what's his name, Brandon Lee,
Yeah.
getting shot by a real bullet.
Oh, on set.
Yeah, that's
It wasn't a real bullet. Wasn't it just the fragments and a blank? Or
It was
it a real
something.
one?
I don't.
I thought it was like someone had a real bullet and shot him. Like they were all shooting at each other with fake bullets, and he got or shooting at him, and one of them actually had real bullets in it. I thought that was actually.
I
the
don't-
story.
I don't remember enough to give an official
Fact check.
answer.
Check it
I
out.
don't want to do that, man. I don't want to.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure he did get shot by a real bullet. I don't know. Anyways, we're going.
But yeah, I mean,
military.
after I mean, I like that one. I thought it was really
Yeah,
good
yep.
too. You know, Andy getting sent away after his second, you know, running with Chucky. Still,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna believe him, so they sent him to a boot camp, try to straighten him out. The next thing you know, Chucky's getting carried to this dumpster, and then there's a death. So he automatically knows, shit, that's Chucky. He's back. You know what I mean? But then after that, it went down into
Bride.
Bride of Chucky.
Yep.
Yeah. So I like that one too.
Mhm.
I actually thought it was a good story.
Yeah.
And then they started incorporating the Jennifer Tilly, but I actually didn't mind her being in that one because it
No.
made sense. How
No,
they-
it was.
he got her into
Yeah,
the doll,
yep.
you know, just because he wanted her to be there too. Then is that when they introduced that medallion? I think it's when they first introduced it, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think.
Like towards the end. he
Yeah.
pulls out
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
medallion.
Yeah. Because they go back to Charlize Ray's grave
Mhm.
and pull it out. Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, we talk about the seed of Chucky. I
And
laugh when I
seed.
see that. It's
Didn't that baby? Didn't he was?
oh yeah,
Glenn.
Yeah, Glenn. They had the baby at the end.
Was he? Did they talk about him?
Well,
before?
yeah. The end of Bride of Chucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he pops out and
Yeah.
bites that detective in the face, and then
I'm anatomically correct.
doll sex.
Which, I mean, this is how serious you can take the series too. Like they show like Chucky as a doll naked. He has no wiener, you know. So when he's anatomically correct in Bride of Chucky, he's like, no, you're not. But you know, whatever. Like you know what? I don't know. Yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah, then
And
Seed
th-
comes
and then
out.
Seed came out, yeah. And then I just thought it got too Hollywood. You know, they threw in some big name actors in there too. They threw a Britney Spears cameo in there. It wasn't really her. She
Right.
said she didn't want to be part
Well,
of it.
and Red Man's in it.
Red Man is in there. And then at the end of that, the kid gets what? They take the
The-
kid into an actual human.
Yeah,
at the end of
both
that-
personalities get put into a couple kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Glenn or Glenda.
Mm-hmm. And then Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she appears back in that movie throughout the whole thing. And then after that, I actually really like this one. If it was a rating scale, I'd say The Curse of Chucky. Did you guys watch that
Mhm.
one?
Oh yeah.
I like that one.
That's
Brings
on
it back.
Netflix,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Did you watch that one? I know you watched it cold, but did you watch
I've
Curse?
seen it. Yeah.
It brings
but
it
I haven't
back
watched
to
it, no.
that scary, just.
It was more grounded.
Mm.
It felt gothic,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, with the house that they're in, and
Mhm.
yeah, and
Well-
and they did some cool like flashback scenes. That
yeah,
was
they
really
actually
neat.
show you,
Yeah.
you know, Charles Lee Ray back in his human form, you know, before him getting chased down, you know, by the cops, which is in the very first one, and how he puts his soul into the body. But he actually had a kid. He actually killed this lady's husband, and then kind of held her captive, and then had a kid with her, wouldn't let her leave or anything like that. And then she actually called the cops on him one day. I believe that's what happened, right?
Something like that.
So, yeah, she tipped him off, and then the cops came, and then he got really pissed at her. I mean, he is a strangler, and stabbed her in the stomach.
Lakeshore.
And, yeah, Lakeshore Strangler. And stabbed her in the stomach when she was pregnant. So that's when that curse comes out. He gets shipped to his daughter's house and the wife, and that's why she's in a wheelchair. 'cause he actually crippled her when he
Yeah.
stabbed her. But after that, I mean, they brought Andy back, you know, in the cult. I don't know. What is your take on it?
I liked it a lot, actually. I mean, I'm not really one to be super hard on just stuff in general anyway, but like, I mean, I get that, you know, these, you know, this one and the last one, you know, they're definitely a lot lower budget. You know, they don't have the same studio backing, so, you know, I think you got to try and be a little bit forgiving, at least of that. Like, things aren't going to look as good as they once did. You know, the doll's going to look a little different or whatever. But, like...
And that's one thing, too, the look of the actual doll.
Which they actually made it make a lot of sense in Curse. Because, like, you know, his face, like, looked a little off. But then, like, they peeled back the layers and he still had all the stitches and stuff. But no, I mean, I liked Colt. I thought it was a neat way to get him into, you know, a new setting, you know, with the hospital and all the mental patients and whatnot. And then I liked the, you know, the transferring to different.
So you did like that?
Yeah,
like
I did.
Multiple Chuckies.
Yeah,
okay, it's a little different. Yeah. I mean, again, when you're branching out into, like, just like we're talking about all these Jasons, Halloweens, when you start going so far, you know, 5, 6, 7 into this series, you got to stretch it and find new ways to make it work. You can't just have the same Chucky doll going after Andy. I guess,
Right,
per
and
se.
it makes sense how they do it. It's like, oh, we figured out a new voodoo ritual that, like, you
I
don't...
thought that was a little bit cheesy. Like, I got online and found out new voodoo. We all got different bodies and stuff,
Sure.
Chucky or whatever. But you know, it's still cool.
Gone on the dark web, man. What do you mean?
The scariest part of that movie is probably the part where Andy's smoking the joint. And he's like, "Let me get a puff of that," and he gives it to him.
I love that Chucky head.
The Chucky
Yeah.
head,
Yeah.
the Chucky head that he kept in his safe. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I thought that was fucking cool.
But the thing that freaks me out on the Curse of Chucky, at the very end, he sends himself, or I think maybe Tiff does it,
Yeah.
to Andy's house. You know, Andy's all grown up, thinking, you know, I ain't seen Chucky in forever. Next thing you know, he gets this big old box that's wrapped in the fucking brown wrapping, just like in the very first one. And he knows that it's Chucky. But you're living that day-to-day life wondering, hey, is this thing ever going to come back? That's why people tell me, which, you know, it's a stretch. As a guy in a doll body, I get that. But, you know, I have people tell me, oh, I just punt that thing. I kick it. I was like, you punt that thing, it's going to run away. And then what are you going to do? You can't relax. You can't be comfortable.
Right.
And you can't necessarily tell anybody the whole thing.
No, I've had people try and, you know, argue that too. It's like, why would I be scared? It's just a doll. Like,
he's not trying to go a fist fight with you. You know what I mean? It's
no.
more
And
about,
also, with this being
he's
cursed,
sneaky.
yeah.
and he has blood in him, so that doll has to weigh more than just a regular doll too.
Yeah.
Maybe
He
a
has
little
blood
bit,
and
sure.
shit in him,
I
you
never
know,
actually
when-
thought about it like that.
when
but
he cut, yeah, because I mean, even if you punt him, it's still gonna hurt
gonna
your
hurt your
leg.
foot.
Yeah, you're like, fuck.
Ow.
You're kicking kind of.
I got a
almost
sprained
a
ankle.
human doll in a way, you know.
He's always got something on him too, a knife or something. You try
Yeah.
to kick him, he'll slice
Yeah,
your
true.
tendons. You know what I mean?
I just thought it was funny the way, like, every time he runs, it's these little fucking feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the very first one they used the animatronic type thing,
Yeah.
and that to me looks so like real in a sense that if a doll was to do that transformation.
Yeah.
And now with all the CGI, the Curse, it was CGI'd a lot of it. The Colt, I
There
think
was
they went
one
back to the
scene
animatronic.
in Curse with the CGI where, like, you see him, like, run up the stairs or something, and it's
Mhm.
bad.
He's like not even
It
touching
looks
the
like
ground and
shit. It's
yeah.
like, whoa.
It's just being drug up.
yeah.
But no, I mean, I think with what they, what they've got, they did
The
decent
Colt, the
with
Colt Chucky seems like they did go back to the old school way.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they showed
yeah,
his legs and the way he
I
was
actually watched it
moving.
behind the scenes actually on YouTube about it that they actually did do the animatronic stuff on it just to shy away from that CGI aspect of it.
Mhm.
But I mean they're leaving it open for another one too. Kyle.
They did leave it open.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think
Okay, so you did get
Yeah.
to see that.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the Netflix version.
they
you-
cut that off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
There's an
mentioned-
after credit scene
Mhm.
in it.
I told you
You
about
did
that.
tell me about it.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of these?
Yeah,
Child
it's been a while, but when you talk about the animatronics and stuff, I think that's kind of key, for me at least, to stay in the spirit of, horror films and stuff like that. I kind of dig that.
You know, the other thing that I think is really cool and admirable about the Chucky franchise is, you know, and again, I'm not just like, you know, I'm not too hard on things. Like, I also don't like flip out at like if a classic is being remade or something. Like, it's really like one of the only things that hasn't had a remake, and it is still helmed by the same guy that created Chucky.
Don Mancioni.
Mancini.
Mancini.
Yeah. You know, so like he didn't direct the first 4. Like, really, the first one he directed was Seed. So maybe that's not so great, but he's directed Seed and all the others on. But at the same time, like, he's the guy that's been at the head of the Chucky franchise this entire time. And that's pretty cool because, you know, Wes Craven didn't stay on.
Yeah.
John Carpenter didn't stay on for, you know, Michael Myers. Like, maybe they popped in and out, you know, but he's always been part of this franchise. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think like I always say, like, I always remember one death in certain movies. I think it was the second Chucky, the dude in the factory with the kid, the dolls, and I guess eyes in his eyes.
On
Man.
the conveyor
Yeah.
belt.
I always remembered that death. He gets the eyeballs.
The second one's probably
Punched in
my
his eyes.
favorite.
Yeah. I like that one. I mean, it's tied for me for the first, you know, because he gets introduced, and then he's such a young kid in that to go through all that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And then
And he's so good in it, too.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, just like the innocence of that child. Like, you know, just like seeing him, you know, early on, you know, when he's like making the breakfast for his mom, like it gives you like a sense of like, man, I was that.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, Mom, the sun's shining, like, let's have fun today. And, you know, it's like, man, that's really cool. And it gives you something to latch on to. Then when Chucky shows up, you're like, no, don't kill the little kid. Don't take his body over.
Yeah.
What was your favorite kill, I guess, then? In any of the
Oh, man.
Chucky's?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
And have you seen the original and the second?
Long time ago.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
You said yours already. Me probably be with the second one, I guess it would be, where the dad's going down the stairs, and then Chucky.
He gets the Achilles,
yeah.
right? Or
does he, or does he grab him with the
I don't remember.
umbrella? I think
I
he
don't
grabs him,
remember.
trips him
Yeah,
up, but he's
yeah.
holding him up still. And then the dad, didn't believe anything at all. And then Chucky
Right.
just looks at him and says something to him, and then bloop, lets him go, falls right on his head.
Yeah, I think, there's certainly some fun creative stuff, like in Bride of Chucky, John Ritter, the dad, he shoots him in the face with a nail gun.
Oh, yeah.
Makes him look kind of like Hellraiser,
Yeah.
Pinhead. It's like it had cool little, Easter eggy type of things like that.
Yeah.
You guys got anything else on the Child's Play series?
Child's
I know it's
Play.
your favorite.
Yeah. I just hated the doll. I never liked dolls.
No,
But,
that's when I told you I had these nightmares as kids. That was the main thing. I'd basically be in my dream, and it'd be at my house, and then Chucky would be downstairs or something, and then I'd go down there and be like, oh, shit. He'd come after me. I'd be like, Mom, Chucky's down there. She's like, it's fine. I said,
you had the doll in the house.
Yeah.
So, a good, what is it? Good.
what was the actual doll name?
A good guy doll.
Not in the movie, but the real life one.
Oh, My Kid Buddy.
My Kid Buddy.
Yeah.
My Kid Buddy.
But
yeah.
I mean, with dolls.
And there was My Kid Sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, with dolls though. I mean, there's stories out there that are with possessed dolls. I don't know if you ever read up on those.
Fuck yeah.
Being actually possessed. They have this one doll that's actually in this like a glass box on display
I
at
think I've
this
seen this
museum.
one,
Have
yeah.
you seen that one before?
I read about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you never.
I don't know
like-
where it's, if it's in Mexico or somewhere where like an island full of dolls just hanging.
Oh really?
Somewhere like some little girl got lost. They never found her. They found her doll. So people started a tradition where they go to this island where they hang like just basically gifts like dolls. So this whole island just filled with like dolls hanging on trees and branches and like different bridges, just
Mhm.
full of dolls. The whole island. I don't know if it's Mexico or where, but that's just fucking scary. They say people just hear shit at night. You know?
You like Hellraiser, right?
I'm a Hellraiser fan.
Hellraiser.
I like the idea of the box and stuff.
Explain that to us. There's so many Hellraisers, I think.
Well,
There's like 8, 9.
Same
Yeah.
as all the other ones.
Yeah,
We just never
Come
took
on,
the
Louie.
time.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
yeah,
Fact check.
it all kind of derives off of that box. It's a guy
What's
trying
it, the
to
lament
escape hell.
box or something like that. Lament or I don't remember what they call the box for officially, but
Holding it in the pot toy.
Yeah.
that's from part 3.
And it really wasn't that difficult to open. It was just the concept of it. I mean, you give it, I think, a full, on the dial, you give it a full circle, 360 turn, and then, it ejects, rolls 30 degrees, and then, compresses back into it. But I just thought it was kind of cool. It opened up the gateway, you know, and I liked how they portrayed, hell. It was dusty, it was dark, it was all shadows. It wasn't really fire and brimstone. And I think that was probably my favorite part about it is it twisted hell into a whole different perspective.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. So it just kind of stuck with me, and then I don't know. I like the idea of Pinhead. I think he's a total badass. He's just real slow turning, just
A little more maniacal, a little more menacing. Yeah.
Yeah, he would get into your head just from how he spoke to you, and he was just creepy.
There's a romanticism to him,
Yeah,
a little bit.
it was
Now, when he
cool.
killed people, did he find out like their fears and kind of feed off that, or was
No,
it just
I-
like straight
I-
torture?
Yeah, I think it was, for lack of a better term, any way he could be more creative than the last one.
He just got off on it.
Yeah,
Well, like in the first one, Frank is like the main guy that everything happens to, and he's kind of like a thrill seeker type of guy. Like he's kind of done everything. Nothing scares him. Nothing bothers him, and he finds something that fucks him up pretty good.
yeah.
How did he
And
find that?
it was almost kind of vampiric too, because he would need, he would need blood. He would need human blood or sacrificial blood or whatever, just anything to just kind of rejuvenate himself, So there was kind of that same, I don't know. I guess I'm not quite sure how far back, the vampire movies go. You have Nosferatu, but this one was kind of cool. It got better, I think, in the second one. The original story was kind of slow going. There wasn't a whole lot of killing. It was more of a story really than it was action. But then it started to get, twisted into the following episodes, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I remember when I was getting into, really just horror films in general. Like when I started getting my own money, could buy my own movies and stuff, and really digging deeper into the horror franchise or genre. And like for me, it was starting with the classic slasher characters: Michael, Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, Leprechaun, Chucky, Pinhead. And like I love just like characters. And with all those, most of those characters, like they're all like on the forefront, like they are like the star. And the first time that I watched Hellraiser, I was like, cool, I'm really looking forward to this Pinhead guy. And he really isn't the focal point of it. Like at that point, I don't even think he was like really like the leader, because there was like the 4 Cenobites, I think, and like they were all kind of involved, and it just
They created him, didn't they? They drove it was those guys that drove all the nails into his head, I believe.
Yeah, I don't remember for sure. Yeah, because again, my Hellraiser knowledge isn't that great. It's something that I would like to rectify, but I just remember watching that first one and going like, it was okay, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I watched the second one, and I thought it was a little better, but like, it seemed almost like the same story played over again, just instead of a male, it was a female. That was having all this stuff happen to, and I was just like, I don't know, like they just don't connect with me that much. But it's a series, that I always want to try and give like another shot to and finish the other films, whether they're that great or not.
Yeah.
Just because it's something like I love knowing about this stuff, and think they're cool characters that deserve to be known about.
Well, speaking about like characters and stuff, of course you got like the classics: Dracula, the Frankenstein,
Oh, yeah,
werewolf,
yeah.
Swamp Thing, right?
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
And then
Yeah.
you got the classic monsters.
Yeah.
Then you got the new kind of generation one, which were
Yep.
Jason, Freddy,
Yep.
Michael Myers, Pinhead,
Sure.
and, Scream, Ghostface, and then after that,
He came a little later.
yeah, he came later.
Yeah,
so
but
that would be another
sure.
generation. So
Yep.
what monsters?
Texas
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He'd be considered.
He was part of the Freddy and Jason and all that.
So what's the new monster characters that we have in this generation? I guess now.
There's
We're bringing that Annabelle out right now.
So you got
Yeah.
Annabelle. So I'm wondering. I'm like, do they have like these classical like these guys are classic now? Like these guys are in their point where like someone you think horror, you're like, oh, Freddy, Jason, and all them now.
right.
Before, now you think of like werewolves and like all
Sure.
the stuff in the past is kind of like Dracula, whatever, because they changed like how vampires are nowadays, and with Twilight fucking it up, and all that, and werewolves too.
Right.
But what is the new like monsters? I guess
I
you could
think
say.
it'll be tough to get many of them like as iconic as those were.
Yeah.
But we got like Otis and Captain Spaulding, from
I was
House
bring that
of
up, yeah.
Corpses.
Yeah, you guys. America's Rejects.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
rewatched that today actually to catch up on it.
I mean, Devil's Rejects is my all-time favorite film out of anything.
Mm.
So, I mean, yeah, but Captain Spaulding definitely is up there. Like you said, yeah, I mean, Annabelle, could, I don't know if it'll have the same thing, but I'd say it's fairly popular.
it's more of a spirit, like a demon
sure,
rather
sure.
than
Now there's
like a
more of
figure.
them.
Um,
Well, the
Kinda
chick
like in-
from The Ring is probably closer
that-
to.
yeah,
newer one.
yeah. I'd maybe lump that in with a little bit more of like, the Scream
Yeah.
generation, Jeepers Creepers.
Oh yeah, Jeepers Creepers another.
That was kind of part of that. I mean, the new Pennywise is definitely gonna be
Oh yeah.
out there for sure.
Poor
Pour
George.
one out for Georgie.
Yeah.
And then there's, I feel like will they ever be mainstream, like larger than life characters? Probably not, but I feel like if you want to start digging into other cool characters like that, you got to kind of get out of like the theater stuff.
Yeah.
Actually,
And-
Netflix has a lot of horror
Sure,
movies on
yeah.
there, and it's just hard to watch them all. But you look at the ratings on there too, and a lot of people badmouth them. So you're like, do I want to take the time? But I mean, if you actually do take the time, you'll
Right.
find some gems in there.
Oh, yeah,
actually. My buddy just told me
absolutely.
about a few of them where I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I
mean,
looked that one off just because
Hatchet is a newer one. Victor Crowley. It's the first one came out in like 2006, 7, something like that. Yeah, 2007 because it's on its 10th anniversary, and they just came out with fourth one is coming out, and I mean it's super cool, total throwback to Jason, Leatherface, Michael Myers, just set nowadays. And it's a lot of fun.
Oh, you can't forget Sam too.
Oh yeah,
Trick or
Sam from
Treat.
Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Again, he's got a cult following.
Yeah.
Mainstream wise, I don't know how many people are gonna
Remember that,
latch
yeah.
on to it, but yeah, he's awesome.
I mean, I was just wondering because like I remember looking up some stuff. And
I think
Different.
it's tough to get those
'cause now it's not
iconic
so
characters
much
to
one character.
everyone.
Now you got like the Purge, Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
People,
Yep.
everybody's a character, can be a character in that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
what would you do in the purge, man? Would you stay home, stay put, stay guarded, or would you go out? 'Cause
I think this was brought up in a podcast earlier.
Oh, was it?
And I just said this. I was like, I wouldn't.
Louie
be alive.
don't want to incriminate himself.
I wouldn't be alive. You probably wouldn't be alive. There's always some motherfucker that's gonna want to kill you. For whatever you did,
That's
whatever.
why I'd stay guarded.
I don't know if I would go out and kill. I'll probably try to find some place to hide.
Well, I've heard people start rambling off people, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, oh, fuck. You want to kill some motherfuckers right now.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know
it's the
what I
real
would.
world, so you're
I
not.
don't know what I would do in the Purge, but I figured out what I would do if like the zombie apocalypse happened.
Yeah.
I would
Oh, zombie movies. I forgot about those.
I would try to live as long as I could, just to be like, okay, like, can I be a survivor? You know, because I think it'd be fun to do that.
Well, and then also, what kind of zombies would be in that world? Because there's so many different types, you know.
Talking about like fast running, slow walking
Yeah, the
dead
28
type,
days.
World War Z.
Yeah, I
type.
don't know.
World War Z, I Am Legend.
I guess in my head,
like that
I'm thinking
I
that
like that.
they're kind of slower, but so that would be the first thing, survive. Then the second thing would be I would fuck one.
I would fuck a zombie.
Damn.
Because like I've never seen that. I've never seen that in a movie. I've seen tons of zombie movies.
Dude, and you know, in real life, someone would try.
But,
Yeah,
like-
that's pretty much that'd be classified as like necrophilia.
It's the
But
zombie
they're
apocalypse.
alive.
Like, who cares after that anymore? Like, everything is dead.
What if it does become pregnant? It becomes like a zombie,
But then I would.
half dead, half alive.
Then after
Fucking
that,
kill
I
it.
would purposely become one. So then I can now live the life as a zombie.
I would die.
I wouldn't kill myself, so I wouldn't come back. I would be a zombie. So
I would die relatively quick. I had a kidney transplant, so I'd run out of getting my medication shipped to me and shit. I'd just die slowly and then turn one day. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd turn.
So if you could experience death, and this is a bit of a dark side for me a little bit, but I've always been curious that if you know for sure, and we talked about this too, if you know for sure you could come back once you took your life.
is
Not-
a zombie a ghost or
Well,
or
not
Just any way, like,
not quite
dying.
like. I mean, if you could experience some way, not in a sense of a flat.
so you're not a
if you will.
zombie.
Yeah.
No,
No, you
okay.
could experience a form of death, experience the pain, every last bit about it. How would you take your life knowing that you
Oh.
would come back
Oh.
30 seconds later? It's very, very
Oh.
dark. Yeah.
How would I
How
kill
would-
myself?
How would you kill yourself? And I've always wondered what a gunshot would feel like.
Yeah.
You know, because they say that the rumors are that if you're beheaded,
That is a crazy ass question. I have no idea.
if when they used to behead people, they say that it was one of the most painful things that your brain waves would, or based on your brain waves, that you would experience, because when your head was lopped off and you would see your body there without your own head, it was very extremely mental pain. So they say. So, yeah,
But there's no one that can say.
it's wild.
Just
But
have hope
yeah,
on my head, dude.
He had to back away from the mic because he can't think about it right now.
Yo, dude, like just looking at your body headless.
Yeah.
Like your own body. And
because
you're like,
your brain's still active
you're
for
still
a period of time.
because they always like talked about like stories about like some like witches getting their head chopped off. Like, oh, she's a witch because like her eyes moved after they chopped her head off. But like your eyes and stuff and your tongue will still probably move because nerves and shit, you know,
Yeah.
and your brain. And so I wonder how long you're alive with your head chopped off.
I mean, that's the most. A gunshot is probably what we see in movies more than anything else. You know, I don't know, and I think it's just, you know, from all the repetitiveness. Jesus, what would it be like knowing you can come back? Yeah.
I'd probably I don't know, take my own heart out and take a bite out of it or something before I died. I don't know. I'm just trying to
Real
figure
dramatic.
some weird shit out.
Man, I don't know. There's a lot of deaths. I like one of like car crashes, like getting crushed into a car,
Oh.
like a semi running you over. That's kind of fucking scary.
Yeah.
like just knowing like when you get crushed, you die instantly. I hope you fucking do, because like you see semis on top of fucking little cars, and that you're like that body in there is fucking
Just mangled,
Just,
dude, just-
yeah.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I
Splat.
suppose, yeah, there's so many ideas.
Well, jumping off of something really high, that would be something
Yeah,
too that I
yeah.
want to experience. Feel that
Just the
G
free
hit you.
fall,
Yeah,
yeah.
Knowing that you can't pull the chute.
Get put in a wood chipper.
Dude, that's why I'm
first.
scared.
Oh, feet first. Fuck,
Well, yeah,
dude.
that way, like, oh my god, I'm feeling all of this. This is
I'm gonna-
crazy. I'm,
gonna
dead
live
now.
This,
Well, you say a wood chipper, but you know those those machines that just compress.
Oh,
yeah,
rock
like a
crusher?
compactor.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to work
Well-
at Oriental Trading, and I had to throw boxes. in
Make
that
me
thing,
flat
and I
like
was
the-
just like, dude, if I fell in there and
Like the
tried
dude
to
in
get out of it-
Beetlejuice.
Dude, there was I saw it on Facebook. No, not Facebook. It was one of those sites that some in Germany, a paper roller, a paper flattener. Some guy was like, there's two guys that were talking, and he goes and he's touched this roller, and it had to have been CG because there's no way this would go on. But he got pulled in, and just blood went fucking everywhere, and they did a great job on it. You
Dude, I
know, crazy.
I don't know,
but
dude. I see some videos that like
Oh,
went like
man.
viral. There was this one which I think it's probably overseas somewhere, like or whatever. But they put the video online, and it was getting shared by people. With this guy, it was like a warehouse, like a factory or something, and there was like a chain on this machine, like going like this, moving. Well, he got his arm or clothes caught in it, and as he got caught, he got pulled. So this chain, his arm breaks, or I think it was his leg. Either way, he's sitting there, boom, hitting the ground,
Oh,
just constantly, and the machine just going, and this dude's body is just arm, and people are next to him like, oh fuck, like you see people running and try to shut off the machine. He's just constantly douche, like blood's like keeps flying everywhere, and like you can
Yeah.
see his arm, everything break, his leg break, and he just fucking just keeps spinning like this.
You
He's
guys
caught-
you
Yeah,
ever
he's
think
dead.
about escalators? People. I seen one
You
lady
see
fall through one
movies.
and then getting caught up in it. But when I was
That
little,
happens in a trauma movie.
yeah, my shoelaces got caught in one when I was little, and it started pulling my shoe really tight. And this lady was, luckily she happened to be there. She shut the button off, the little button they got
Yeah.
right there, and shut it off. But I was thinking, dude,
your foot would have been
my
gone.
foot, how hard it would have squeezed before it
There's
ripped.
been
but
movies or something where someone's chain or something got caught in it.
probably a Final Destination
Yeah.
18. or
It's
something.
Yeah.
Chain got caught and just fucking ripped that dude's head off. or
Yeah.
something.
Did you say Final Destination 18?
18. What number is it on now?
There's only 5.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was that far too. I was like, yeah, they probably do have another file. It's just like those deaths became so it's like too much, Kind of like on Chucky.
The first one,
Cult Chucky.
dude, when-
Kind of like a Cult Chucky where he fucking hits that fucking
I mean,
oxygen tank and goes in the glass.
What-
and
Oh,
fucking blows
yeah.
heads off.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of a Final Destination kind of type death in a way. I thought.
Well,
Anyway,
I mean that's
minus the Chucky.
the slasher
Chucky.
movie kind of MO though, is like got to always try and come up with just creative, fun
Yeah.
kills.
Yeah.
Like
Which-
it's not meant to be taken serious. It's just fun.
Yeah, which I don't mind watching the Final Destination ones because you see, obviously, there's like 5 or 6 kills throughout the movie, and you just see how it all leads up to it.
Yeah.
Which is actually, it could happen in real life. I mean, some of it, certain events happening, and then, boom,
Yeah.
that person gets crushed by that glass that fell off. You ever think about that? Somebody, construction, building something, dropping something, and then it hitting somebody in the head. Shit.
Billy, did you ever felt like you've ever cheated death and not known it or realized it after the fact?
No. I mean, I guess I almost drowned once, but I don't think I like cheated death. No.
Just like so many routes in life and stuff, if you would have
Like if
moved
that would have been me, like I would have been in that position, or no, I don't. No,
Eh.
I can't think of anything.
30 seconds sooner from getting out of bed and driving to work, and all of a sudden you see that accident happen right in front of you. Yeah, those little things.
Yeah.
The
See,
dark side.
accidents happen from me.
Oh, yeah.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Like-
Riding the motorcycle, man. A lot of times I could have been hit. People
Yeah.
didn't see me coming. One time I was going down the street, and this guy pulled out in front of me. So luckily I seen it in time, went around him. And this is when I just had first started riding my bike. And actually my uncle lost half of his brain from being in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
He's got a metal plate in there, and then it's all caved in on one side. He's mentally retarded.
crazy.
Can't really talk. He
It's
just
crazy.
kind of just mumble stuff.
Crazy.
That's,
That's
crazy. You ain't even listening. though.
Dude, I'm listening.
Oh shit! And my mom would always say, "I don't want you to get a bike." And every time, she'd be like, "Is this dude coming home?" Which is not, real thing. With all these bikes, I was on this motorcycle page on Facebook, and you would always see every week somebody that got in a big accident, somebody that got hit by a car, somebody that died.
Yeah. See a lot of that.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and
Wrap it up.
wrap it up on the dark side of life here in our Halloween special.
Are you doing that at all? You ain't gonna get to that? You ain't getting to Billy's favorite?
Oh,
What?
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, Devil's Rejects.
Well, I mean, there
Yeah, I mean,
ain't one a prequel to the other one. Or House
well,
of Thousand
I mean, yeah, I mean, I like Devil's like way more than I like House.
See, I've seen that before. I don't remember what happened in the Devil.
Oh, so you guys told me to watch House.
Yeah, you got to watch that one first. Watch that
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
But you got a whole bunch of notes there. I don't know if you have time to touch that, but
Oh, it's all right.
Oh,
Well, we can feed up on it another time. But yeah. So
All right, well, that was a good one. That was a good
yeah.
That was
Halloween
fun.
special.
Yeah.
That was fun. Have to do it again.
I love talking this stuff.
If we got all these decorations, might as well keep them up and do it again.
Be up for a whole year.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, we'll
That'll
close
be
it up here in
episode.
episode 5.
This is episode
Episode
5. Thanks,
There you
Billy.
Hey, no,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
David.
That's-
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate being invited. I think it's super cool. You know, Louie, we know each other. Dave, I've seen you around. Brian, never met you at all. So
That's
like,
good
it's
stuff.
cool to have such a fun conversation with people you don't even really know,
Yeah,
and it goes so well. So thank you.
it's awesome. Glad to have you guys.
Have you again. We have to touch on the One Scene, One Love stuff. Have you and Ashley on here.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Cool, cool.
Well, thanks
All
for
right.
watching. Happy Halloween.
Moon Effect.